Good evening. It's Saturday night, the 6th of March, I think. And haven't shot one of these videos in a very long time. But I got asked at church a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, to do a devotion for our worship team on Sunday morning, and I had kind of been mulling it over, and honestly I had to I was out of town for several days and was supposed to actually do it last Sunday, and it didn't come together and it didn't happen. So I've been mulling this over for probably 2 weeks, and this evening's the end of a pretty long day, and the thing that keeps coming to me that I was supposed to share, and I'm going to share tomorrow morning, is not really a worship devo. So I was continuing to mull it over and think about it and pray about it, and had some difficulty even coming up with what I was supposed to do for this devotion. And I knew it all along, but I didn't know exactly what I was supposed to share. I didn't think, because I didn't think it applied to worship. Today it kind of all came together. So my wife, last weekend or sometime last week, snapped a picture of me in what she called my quiet place, and she posted it on social media. I didn't even know she took it, didn't even know she posted it till later, but it was me sitting on the pond bank with a fishing rod in my hand, and just outdoors, and the weather was beautiful, and the breeze was just very slight, not much wind at all. It was just a beautiful day. And I was in my quiet place, and several guys that I listen to online have all kind of been aligning some of the things that they share with that similar thought of finding your quiet place. And as I pondered on that again today, I was back out at the ranch feeding cattle, and my brother left, and my wife was out of town today, and so I just had some time to sit there and think. And so in doing so, the Lord brought to me the passage in the Bible about Gethsemane. And I thought, what in the world does this have to do with worship or quiet places? And I am no Bible scholar. I have them in my family. They've been to Bible college. I've got a son that's in Bible college that's probably well past me in knowledge on some things at this point. In fact, he texted me the other night. I shared a burden, and he texted some incredibly wise counsel that just, I thought, man, who is this kid? So, but anyway, Gethsemane kept coming up. So I read that passage sitting out there, just being out, and this time I didn't even have a lure in the water. I was just in my place. And I got to thinking about that, and what came to me was, why did Jesus go to Gethsemane? What was special about Gethsemane? I did some research this afternoon, and Gethsemane is a place where now Christians go when they do the tours of the Holy Land, and they go to where they think Gethsemane was, and it's a olive grove or orchard of olive trees. They think some of the trees that are there could have been the trees that Jesus walked amongst, or it's offshoots or offspring of those olive trees. But again, outdoors, a beautiful place, and Jesus had at that time a heavy burden on his heart of what was about to play out, and what he had to carry out and what he had to go do. And he was asking his father for 3 times, do I have to do this? And obviously was getting the answer that, yeah, you got to do this. But why Gethsemane? It's in the one I was looking at earlier today is in Matthew 26. It's really dark out here on the porch, and old age is terrible. And I'm not old, but man, 36, verse 36, 26, 36. I hope that's right. But that passage there talks about him going to the garden and leaving some disciples to pray for him while he goes off into the garden by himself. Again, why Gethsemane? And I think, and again, I'm no Bible scholar, and but I think Gethsemane was Jesus' quiet place. We all need a quiet place. And especially today, the world we're in, we're so connected, and we're so attached to social media and to being texted and paged and rang on the phone and emailed, and there's so many distractions. Seems like we don't travel without the radio on, and we don't ever find our quiet place. And for me, my quiet place is a little bit different than what some would call a prayer closet. I think a prayer closet's a place where you go with intention to pray, and I pray in my quiet place. But I think in a prayer closet, I always think of that as like a war room. That's where you go to do battle, in prayer. And your mind is in gear when you're doing that, and you're, typically have lists and things in there, and scriptures and things that you ponder and meditate on. But I think for me, anyway, that's different than my quiet place. And maybe men and women are different here. I thought about that today a little bit too. I think men especially need a place to go. My quiet place, my phone doesn't work. There's no signal. Even Elon's Starlink satellite doesn't work there. So there's nothing to pull or tug on my attention. And I don't necessarily go there and pray every time. Sometimes I just go and let my brain process. Just think. Sometimes my quiet place is out here where I'm sitting, other than Quigley, our dog's running around barking at rabbits and who knows what. But this evening, Lynn's not home yet, and so I'm kind of in a quiet place again. And I thought through this, and I think that the Lord wants us to detach sometimes and go find our quiet place. He could have talked to his Father anywhere, anytime, often did. He called on his Father to help him through things. He called on his Father at times for demonstrations of power and miracles and things that happen. And so he could have openly communicated to his Father about that burden anywhere. He just finished the supper. There's things going on in the timeline of things. He knew the guards were about to come. But he chose to go to his quiet place, and he was praying. But what is it about Gethsemane? What is it about your quiet place? What is it about your Gethsemane? Maybe we'll call it that. Maybe. What is it about that place? It's just olive trees. It's just a pond. It's just a deck with some lights on and no one around. But I think men, especially, I keep getting that because I think we're talking at church about some men's ministry things coming up, and I think that men especially need a quiet place to just process, not watch football, not sit in your lazy boy and take in a game. That's not quiet. Not put the headset on and play video games for 4 hours. That's not quiet. And maybe you take your Bible and maybe you don't. I think there's times you do both, but I think a quiet place is a place where you stop and let your brain catch up. I think we're in a society and a world today that our brain never gets to catch up. Why do so many people have trouble with sleep, staying asleep or getting asleep or having good sleep, or your brain's not caught up from the day? It's processing. I think of what was it, Data on Star Trek. He'd always say processing, and he'd tip his head to one side. I think we have to do that. I think you have to find your quiet place, and I think you have to go there, and I think you have to just let your brain catch up. And when it does, and when you find wherever that place is for you, I hear people all the time say, I don't know if I hear God. I can tell you that if you let your brain catch up and you go to that quiet place and you just stop for a while, let your brain catch up, process through all the things that you need to think about. And when you get to the end of that, I think God's able to speak. He speaks to me loudly in the quiet place. I think most of the time we don't hear him. There's so much coming at us with all the things in the world today, and without a quiet place, unless you're really in tune and really on point, it's hard to hear him sometimes. And again, I'm not saying your quiet place is where you go do Bible study. I think it's a good place to do Bible study, but I think it's also a time to go and just sit and process. I don't know how many times I've said that. But I think that it's something that we need to be doing today. And so tomorrow, my Devo for the worship team is going to be talking about their quiet place. If we're not, as a worshiper, we have lots of jobs to worship Jesus in spirit and in truth, and to help prepare the hearts of a congregation to receive whatever word's coming, and to help usher them into a time or a season of worship. And we do that by just worshiping in spirit and truth ourselves. But if we're not centered up, prayed up, and have been to our quiet place and at real peace, that's pretty hard to do. And I always use the analogy, it's the farmer in me. The worship is supposed to go bust some pretty hard soil, soften up some hearts to receive the seed or the word that's going to get thrown out through the speaker. That's God or Jesus. That's the Father speaking through the speaker. We're not hearing a person, a man, or a preacher. We're hearing from God. And I think worship softens hearts. And I use the analogy of breaks the soil open to be able to plant or receive a seed or something into it. So I know in some ways this is a little disconnected, and I did not prepare. I didn't make notes or anything. I just sat my phone down and started talking. But as a worshiper and as someone that's on the worship team, where you're have a talent or a gift from the Father that you're using to bless others and to bless Him and to prepare that soil for your church family, going into that after having been to your quiet place and have quieted your mind, I think it's a totally different experience. And so when I get the opportunities to go to the quiet place and just park everything that's going on up here, process through it if I have to, then park it, whatever it takes. If I get that opportunity to genuinely do that, worship's a whole different experience. And so that's going to be my Devo tomorrow. But I thought while I was working through that maybe that was something that others need to hear. I know I need to hear it all the time, be reminded of it. And I thought that picture was kind of neat that happened. Several things through the last couple of weeks sort of aligned for that line of thought to come out. But maybe you needed to hear this, that go find your quiet place. Spend some time there. Detach from all of the stuff. And don't be afraid to do that. I read a comment, one of the guys I listened to, and they were afraid to be with their own thoughts. Now that's something I've not ever been afraid to be with my own thoughts, but you shouldn't be. I think going there to your quiet place and processing through whatever it is something you need to do, especially if you're afraid of what your own thoughts are. And maybe going to that quiet place, you go into that in prayer first, if you're afraid of your own thoughts. But just the bottom line of the video is, in this world today, find your quiet place and spend some time there. My other quiet place is we've got a couple of tractors we do most of our farming with. One of them, the radio broke, and I've never fixed it. I'm talking for it's probably not worked for 10 or 11 years. And the tractor driver that drives it, well, every driver that drives it, have all said, don't fix it. So they need a quiet place. I need a quiet place. And the tractor driving thing, sometimes that is just muscle memory, and you really can park your brain there. But my quiet place is that place where the phone doesn't work. There might be a train whistle in the background, but there's really no noise other than the breeze or the birds or the water lapping at the side of the pond bank. Find that spot, whatever that is, find that spot and spend some time there and see what happens. I'll just challenge you to do that. And let me know how it goes. Thanks.